It is the set of exclusive rights granted to the author or the creator for their original work. It also includes right to copy, distribute, and adaptation of work. Copyright has a limited period of time for the work, and later it is said to enter the public domain, which can be there generally for the next 60 years. The main idea behind copyright is giving protection for the expression of an idea and not for that idea. Copyright guarantees the protection of the rights of an author for his or her creations. Of course, the copyright in India is governed by the Copyright Act 1957, the Copyright Rules 1958, and International Copyright Order 1999, and the subsequent amendments made in these during the years 1983, 84, 92, 94, and 99. Before the Copyright Act in 1957, copyright protection was governed by the Copyright Act 1914, which was the extension of British Copyright Act 1911. The Copyright Act 1957 consists of 79 sections and 15 chapters. The Copyright Rules 1958 consists of 28 rules under 9 chapters and 2 schedules. Copyright Act pays for separate and exclusive copyright protection to 7 classes of work. They are the original literary work, the original dramatic work, the original musical work, the original artistic work, cinematography films, sound recording, and most importantly, computer programs. So, the government has set up a Copyright Enforcement Advisory Council on November 6, 1991 to make review on the progress of enforcement of the Copyright Act and periodically give advice to the government regarding the measures to improve the enforcement of this act. There are various facilities available for registering the copyrights of the works in the Register of Copyrights maintained. The procedure of registration is covered under Chapter 6 of Copyright Rules 1958, and subsequent provisions are covered in the Chapter 6 of Copyright Act 1957. Some of the commonly known, as I told you, the copyright infringements are listed below. Making infringing copies for sale, distributing infringing copies for the purpose of trade, public exhibition of infringing copies by the way of trade, finally importation of infringing copies into India. So, under Section 63 of Copyright Act 1957, any person who is knowingly or unknowingly oversteps or assists these types of infringement in copywriting is considered as a criminal offense. Once again, the minimum punishment of infringement for copyright matters is varying from 6 months and fines up to 50,000. In the case of second and subsequent convictions, the minimum punishment and imprisonment may further go up to 1 year and 1 lakh rupee. Trademark is also known as a brand name in a visual symbol, which can be a word signature, a name, a device, a label, sometimes numerals, combination of colors used for goods and services or other articles of commerce to distinguish one from other goods or services. It basically helps the consumers to distinguish between other goods and services. This trademark is basically not linked to quality but linked with customers' mindset in quality expectations. There are different types of trademarks like service mark, collective mark, and certification mark, etc. The 4 different functions of trademark are identifying the goods or services and its origin, creating an image for goods or services, guaranteeing its unchanged quality, and finally advertising the goods and services. The key features of trademark is it must be distinctive and it must be used in commerce. So the Trademark Act 1999 and its rules in 2002, they govern the law of trademarks in India. On the basis of the usage and the registration of the Trademark Act 1999, the trademarks of goods and services are protected. The two main classes of offence which are very important to notice here are the falsification of the trademark, falsely applying the trademark to goods and services, and the punishment for the usage of this trademark or the offences related to that. The imprisonment vary from 6 months to 3 years, with the fine varying from 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees. The same thing can also be applied to the following cases. For example, the industrial designs, geographical indications of goods, protection of integrated circuit layout design, biological diversity, plant varieties and farmer rights, and finally the undisclosed information. Mostly all kinds of this intellectual property things are related to the research and development activities of the institutions. The know-how is the information which is maintained undisclosed as trade secrets. An undisclosed or trade secret is defined to be any kind of information that are treated secretly and is having some commercial value and applications. So these include scientific and research methodologies, formulae, source codes, techniques, ideas, technical data, internal processes, the survey methods, new inventions, discoveries, once again drawings by a scientist, the architecture, researcher, or sometime even by a student. So, India has enacted several approaches for the protection of undisclosed data or trade secret data. The Contract Act 1872 has been enacted to protect the undisclosed data or trade secret data. Under this act, if any information of undisclosed data is leaked, then it is liable for punishment. Legal actions can be sought against the person who is responsible for the leakage of data. Over past several decades, money laundering has become an increasingly prevalent issue. Both financial institutions and governments are constantly looking for new ways to find money launderers, and several anti-money laundering policies have been put in place to help this effort. The term anti-money laundering specially refers to all policies and pieces of legislation that force financial institutions to proactively monitor their clients in order to prevent money laundering and corruption. Anti-money laundering laws entered the global arena soon after the Financial Action Task Force was created. The Prevention of Money Laundering Act, introduced in the year 2002, is an act of the Parliament of India enacted by the government to prevent money laundering. PMLA, that is Prevention of Money Laundering Act and rules notified there came into force with effect from July 1st, 2005. The Act and rules notified there and impose obligation on banking companies, financial institutions and intermediaries especially to verify the identity of clients, maintain records and furnish information in the prescribed form as and when required by the Financial Intelligence Unit of India. Once again, the Act was further amended during the year 2005, 9 and 2012. If we look at the objectives, PMLA seeks to combat money laundering in India with three main objectives. That is to prevent and control money laundering, to confiscate and seize the property obtained from the laundered money, and finally to deal with any other issue connected with money laundering in India. Some of the salient features of this Anti-Money Laundering Act are: definitely punishment for money laundering, powers of attachment of tainted property, adjudicating the authority, presumption in interconnected transactions, burden of proof, appellate tribunal, special court and the Financial Intelligence Unit of India, FIU-IND. In this module, we have discussed a very important acts like RBI Act, Anti-Money Laundering Act, copyright issues, trademarks, and other important acts which are very, very important for an individual as well as for an organization. In today's e-commerce and digital technology, these are all the very important acts even related to common man's general activities or day-to-day activities. One has to be very careful in handling all these because going against this is considered as a crime, a cyber crime, and it is punishable according to the cyber laws and certain important information technology acts and certain other acts. Thank you.